What's up, Ragin Nation? My name is Alex and you're watching another episode of Twitter Tuesdays. Twitter Tuesdays is where you can tweet me all your questions and I'll answer them on camera. So all you have to do is follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation and I'll answer your Twitter question every Tuesdays. And today's episode is actually very special for two reasons. The first reason is that you'll notice that I'm actually not in front of my green screen. I'm actually at the very classic shooting location of the Ragin Ronin review, and the reason why I'm standing here is because my studio is actually having some renovations done to it. It'll be done in a couple of days, so for now we're going to shoot the episodes right here. And the second reason why today's episode is special is because someone tweeted me a really good question and I really want to take the time to use my experience and knowledge to answer this question in full detail. And that question is, Bearkanaga16 tweeted at me and asked me, what is the key to making a good movie review? And when I saw that question, I was asking myself, does he mean what makes a movie to be positively reviewed, or what makes a movie review to be well made? So I cleared that up with him, and it happened to be the latter. So what makes a movie review to be a well-made movie review? And I have an answer for you. And it's a bit of a long one, but I'm gonna do my best to answer this as efficient as possible. The first thing you gotta know is that a movie review can be done by anybody. But there's two main reasons why a movie review is made. And that is for you to give your opinion of it, and also for the audience to know whether or not the movie is worth their time and money to watch. Because ultimately it is your duty to give the movie a thumbs up or thumbs down or an overall score out of 5 or 10 because they came to you for your opinion, which they will take into consideration. And because they value your opinion, it is your responsibility to give them a detailed review on why you thought it was or wasn't good. Before you do a movie review, you need to understand what makes a movie to be positively reviewed, and that is a great story with great characters. Without a great story and great characters, the action, the drama, the romance, the thrills, all of that is all meaningless. So with that said, your review, just like a movie, has to have a structure. The first thing you gotta do is to talk about the story and the characters. That way you give the audience a brief idea of what the movie is about. But personally for me, this is where the review can fall apart. My personal pet peeve about a movie review is when a reviewer spends too much time talking about the story, which eventually leads to him telling me the entire plot, and then I know what the entire movie is about. If you want to see an example of that, go to IMDb and look at some of those reviews. You'll notice that a lot of the reviewers spend 1 to 2 paragraphs just talking about the story alone before you even get to the actual review. Remember, they came to you to ask you what you thought of the movie, not for you to tell them what they already know. The fact is that the people who pay to watch movies already know a little bit about what the movie is about, and that's the reason why they want to go out of their way to watch this movie. The trailer really excited them and they want to see more. So keep the part about the story and characters as short as possible. It's a good way to start off the review, but don't get carried away with the facts. We want your opinion. Before you start off a movie review, you can mention about what you thought of it when you saw the trailer for the first time. That way you can get the audience to empathize with you from a general audience standpoint. Afterwards, this is where the actual structure begins. Start off with how you felt about the movie right after you came out of the theater. Once you've established that, you can start explaining why. Start with how you felt about the story. Was it original? Was it decent? Was it unique? Or was it something that we've already seen before? After that, you can follow up with talking about the characters. Were they interesting? Were they one-sided? Were they well-rounded? What characters did you like the best? And then of course with characters, that eventually leads you to the actors. And you can talk about the acting and their performance. Did the performances stand out? Were there moments where you thought the character development was engaging? Now that you got the part about the story and the characters out of the way, you can start talking about the things that really stood out for you. For example, the action, the scenes of romance, the comedy relief, the visual effects, things like that. And then afterwards, you can end it with whether or not you would recommend it with an overall score. If you can, try to keep your review under 6 minutes, especially if you're a general reviewer. Keep it as short as possible without skipping the important parts. As you already know, people on the internet typically have a short attention span. However, if you're a technical reviewer just like me, 6 minutes might be just enough time or a little bit too short. The intended demographics for my movie reviews is for movie buffs. And I talk about things that happen in front of the camera as well as behind the camera. I talk about things like the action, the visual effects, the lighting, if the 3D was good, the visual style of the director, things like that. And because of that, my reviews have been as short as 4 minutes or as long as 10 minutes. So everybody's movie reviewing style will be different, but you gotta ask yourself, Are you reviewing this for the general audience or fans of a specific genre? After everything that I've talked about, the most important thing is that you have a structure. Don't go around just talking about what you like or didn't like for 6 minutes straight. Talk about what you saw, what you liked, and why you like or disliked it. Before you film the review, it also helps if you write things down and just jot down in note form the little things that you want to talk about. For example, the characters, the story. But you don't need to type out your entire review. Just put it in note form, such as the story was unique, the characters were well-rounded, this actor gave a standout performance, the action was spectacular. Just put it down in little notes. The reason why you do that is because your opinion will do the rest. These little points that you wrote a note about will naturally expand as you talk about them. Remember, it's your movie review. You do not have to copy anyone else's style. It's your review, but make sure you have a structure and make sure you tell them why you did or didn't like the movie and why they should or shouldn't watch it. And also, this is really important. Try to do your best to explain the story briefly without giving anything away. Because sometimes the little points that you mention about the story can change the audience's viewing experience. And that is called a spoiler. You don't want to mention anything that is a key point in the plot. So keep spoilers out of your movie review. If it is a movie review that's filled with spoilers, mention that before you start your review. And that's all I have to say. I hope that this video was helpful to you. And if you do end up making a movie review, send them my way. I'll look forward to watching them. Anyways, that concludes this episode of Twitter Tuesdays. I will answer the rest of your questions next week on Twitter Tuesdays, and I'll make up for it by answering twice as many questions. I really just wanted to take the time to answer this question specifically because I thought it was a really excellent question, and it's also a question which applies my experience and knowledge. So before I end this video, I want to ask you guys a question, and that is, do you guys rely on movie reviews? Because there are some people who just watch the trailers and then that determines that they want to watch it. Or some people just rely on word of mouth through their friends and they just ask them, hey, have you seen any movies lately? What's good out there? Or do you rely on reviews? For me, sometimes I don't even need a review. I could just watch a trailer and then determine whether or not I'm going to watch this movie. However, if it is a movie that I don't know very much about, a review can change my decision. Sometimes I go to RottenTomatoes.com and I see something's at 90% or 85% and higher. That makes me kind of want to watch the movie. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below. If you have any questions where you want me to answer them on Twitter Tuesdays, send them my way. Follow me on Twitter at Ragin Nation and I'll do my best to answer them next week or the following week on Twitter Tuesdays. As always, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel and also like my Facebook page, The Ragin Nation. My name is Alex Yu and thanks for watching another episode of Twitter Tuesdays. I'll see you next time. Peace. As for favorite video game, I'd have to say Gears of War 2 for Xbox 360. It comes with a great story and great characters, which makes it kind of like a movie. And the gameplay plays out like the